Okay, so I just want to click back on the ideas that we think, or I and the team think that are worth being pushed before the halving. So, like I said, credit score. So anything that is related to going and fetching data from on chain and building some kind of credit score that will be the basis of a either institutional credit or institutional lending platform or retail lending platform. We see that these kind of platform were very, very sexy and attractive in traditional finance, especially with things that are that were able to like integrate some kind of AI kind of component to them. But here in Web3 and crypto, we are still lacking these kind of building blocks to push anything related to lending. This is why we go into weird stuff like over collateralization, under collateralization, and people doing like liquidation for other people. And yeah, I think that credit score and infrastructure for credit score will help a lot with this kind of things. Another idea will be, because now if we are pushing lending, we need to have a money or a currency to lend or loan. And from our customer interviews and discussion with people, we are seeing that many of them, they either do not trust the fiat system, so anything related to the dollar or the euro or any other fiat currency, or are afraid of like the high fluctuation of the crypto assets, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets. So maybe a stable coin that is not pegged to the dollar, to not be fragilized by the fact that dollar maybe is going to crash in the next cycles, and also not pegged to the value of the Bitcoin, because we are afraid of the fluctuation of the Bitcoin and we do not know how it's going to behave. A stable coin that is like pegged to something that is stable or low fluctuation from real world is another idea that I think is worthy to build. And the last one will be any kind of tools or layers to not KYC. This is something that I've been discussing with Dan, but maybe just make sure that Bitcoin that we are using is not coming from money laundering or terrorism or anything that is illegal, to be able to put that Bitcoin into rails that can be fed and inputted into institutional kind of operation. So now if you go to a bank and they do not know from where you got your money, you will probably not be able to put that money at the bank. That means that you will not be able to like profit from your money or from your assets. So we have the same situation here in Bitcoin. A lot of people are having Bitcoin in their wallets. They do not want to break privacy and anonymity, and we need to create some kind of infrastructure or solution or protocols that will respect and honor the privacy, and in the same time allows us to use that Bitcoin in the new Bitcoin like DeFi world that you are building. So this is about the ideas that we suggested and we think that are like okay ideas or good ideas to pursue. Now, if we go to our infrastructure, what we are building is a layer that sits between the Bitcoin chain and anything that people wants to build. So in this layer or in this infrastructure, we have two main components. The first component will be our APIs, and our APIs are just so this box here. Our APIs are just like a segue or a interface that will allow these guys that are trying to build things that are native to Bitcoin to do it in a comprehensive, simple way and just through an API interface. The second, and this is where we build everything that's related to vaults, DLCs, escrows, and collaterals, and anything that is like financial primitives requirement to push this kind of apps or protocols. The second component is an oracle, because we need some kind of information to know what to do based on what happened either on chain, on the Bitcoin chain, or from outside the Bitcoin world. So we are building an oracle that allows us to go fetch some data off chain. Right now we are supporting a few sources or feeds of data that will allow us, for example, to push some prices to the Bitcoin chain, push some information or some events that are that were like triggered in the real world to the Bitcoin chain. And we also are actively listening on what's happening here. So for example, if someone paid back a loan or defaulted on a loan, we will be able to look at that from the Bitcoin chain and referee everything that is happening on the vault, either to block it, to unlock it, or liquidate it, or unlock it to claim back whatever collateral that was put in that vault or that DLC. So once we have this infrastructure, so now we have Bitcoin chain, this is the money, this is the currency that we are using. We believe that it's going to be the currency of the digital world of the next 100 years. Once we have this kind of layer that adds some, let's say, more flexibility, more intelligence to the Bitcoin chain, we'll be able to go crazy and nuts and build whatever products and solutions that we want. And here you have all of the breadth of the protocols and products that we are seeing in traditional finance that we want to like get and onboard onto the Bitcoin chain, because we think that Bitcoin is the soundest money of the world. So here we are talking about derivatives, mining pools, predictive markets, lending, insurance, reinsurance, stable coins, and whatever you can think about. So yeah, just to give an example of what are the things that can be built on top of our infrastructure. This is a product that we are pushing right now, currently with another big or another startup in the ecosystem, which are Liquidium. And the idea here is to use an ordinal, use some ordinal that you have in your wallet or in a address in your wallet as collateral to get a native Bitcoin loan. And the idea is very simple. So I have an ordinal, I put it into a lock, I put it into a vault. I use that as collateral. I use the value of my ordinal from that vault, and I go and value that in a marketplace where someone that has native BTC in his wallet can come and activate the loan or accept the loan and then activate the loan based on how much collateral or the value of my ordinal that I've locked with the protocol. I'm saying protocol just to make things easier to understand, but all of this infrastructure is peer-to-peer, so there is no custodian, there is no intermediary, there is like nothing happening between the lender and the borrower. There is just, I put ordinals or my ordinal into a vault, someone comes to the marketplace, lists all of the pending request loans, chooses the one that he wants to fulfill, and issue a peer-to-peer transfer from his wallet to the ordinal guy or to the ordinal requester, to the borrower of the with the amount of BTC, native BTC that the borrower is seeking. Yeah. So what is this, or how is this being built on top of our infrastructure? It's very, very simple. So like I said, our infrastructure will offer all of the services that will allow people to come and integrate or interact with Bitcoin natively. So create the transaction, the PSBTs, the signatures, the outcomes, the events, or listen for the events that will referee and control what's happening with these transactions. This is like an agnostic, transparent kind of interface that does not know how or what you are building on top of it. And based on that, you can use this data, this interface, to build whatever use case you want. And in this case, the guys from Liquidium, they were able to use our APIs to create or augment them with loans, vaults, assets, borrowers, and lenders. Yeah, so this is it for my presentation. I'm going to go and show some APIs, and if we still have a few minutes, we can talk about this.
Yeah, let's take a look at the APIs. Exciting.
All right. So here I have in front of me a list of all of the APIs that we pushed on. This is our API, and the other API is the Liquidium API. So I'm going to be switching back and forth between these two. So this is the list of our APIs. This is the part, sorry. So this is from here till here is the part that interests us from a Vault DLC Bitcoin perspective. And the idea here is we want to be able to build a multi-sig transaction that is able to hold or to host some BTC or Ordinals or other assets as collateral. And based on that collateral, you can do whatever you want of the value that this multi-sig is locking on either Bitcoin chain or in another chain. So for example, you can lock one Bitcoin on a multi-sig in the Bitcoin chain, and because it's locked and stopped having any economic value, you can take that one Bitcoin worth of value and mint something on Stacks to like go trade, buy, lend, or whatever operation you want to do. So like I said, the goal is to be able to build this escrow object, and in order to do that, we need a few things to collect from the user or from the protocol that is integrating with us to be able to do that. So the first thing is we need to know what we are looking for, and this is the future, or what we are calling a future object, not the future contract from trading and from traditional world. It's just we are calling it future just to identify something that might happen in the future. It's a little bit like these future contracts, but it's not the same significance. So this is an event that might happen in the future, and each event will have multiple outcomes. So for example, if we are looking at a football game, we might have 3 outcomes: draw, win, and lose. And we need to be able to identify these outcomes. So these outcomes will tell us, or will need some kind of information that will be published by our Oracle to unlock the vault based on the outcome that has been triggered in either the real world or the Bitcoin chain. So for example, for that football game, if my team won, our Oracle will release or will publish an information saying, hey, team Abdel won, and based on that information, you can unlock the vault. The 3 outcomes will never be published simultaneously because they are like independent, and we cannot have them. We cannot have the 3 of them published at the same time, or if one of them is published, the other 2 will never be published. So this is the first thing that we need to like build. We need to know what is the event that we are triggering, and build a set of outcomes based on that event. So like I said, we have a few type of feeds or a few type of sources from which we go and fetch these types of events. And this is this API, which is feed, where we have an ID and the type of the feed that tells us, okay, I'm going to look at this feed for my events, or for example, I'm going to look at Twitter for my events, or I'm going to look at the Bitcoin share for my events, or I'm going to look at another API for my pricing events. For example, I want to track the price of Bitcoin, so I'm going to look at this API to know what is the price or the spot price of Bitcoin that I'm going to use to refer these bots. So this is the first thing that I need to build. The second thing that I need to build are the parties that are participating in this vote. In most cases, there will be only one party because some people only want to look against our protocol. In that case, our protocol is the second party. But in other cases, there will be multiple parties where, for example, we have with the case of Liquidium, we can have multiple borrowers and one lender, or multiple lenders and one borrower. And in this case, you just need to just going to go to the Liquidium API. You just need to create this array of who are the participants in that operation or that loan. And based on that, you can know from where you the transaction or the PSBT is going to fetch the collateral, to which address is going to like fulfill or issue the loan, what are the expiration dates and stuff like that. So this is the second part that's needed or required to build JSON Trader. Yeah, Albert, do you know someone who is called or named JSON Trader?
Yeah, no problem. Just keep going. They're the next speaker. They're on in 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the second thing that needs to be built or needs to be identified are the parties that are going into the lock. And then once you have these two informations, the future and the parties, our APIs are going to do all of the work in the background to create three things for you. The first thing is the hex of the vault or of the transaction that needs to go into the Bitcoin chain to be broadcasted into the Bitcoin chain, which is going to lock your collateral into one big multi-sig that has an expiry date and that has some conditions to be unlocked. That's the first thing. The second thing is our API is going to generate for you these contract execution transactions, these hexes that we are seeing here. These are also transactions that are still, or they are still not broadcastable to the Bitcoin chain because they are missing or lacking a piece of information. And this piece of information is what our Oracle is going to publish when one of the events or one of the events that correspond to one of these outcomes occurs. So for example, if I have 3 events that might occur out of this future, I need to have 3 outcomes and therefore 3 CETs, but only one signature is going to be published by our Oracle when one of these events or one of these outcomes occurs. The guy or one of the participants can take this signature, finish or complete the transaction, the CET that corresponds to this signature, and broadcast to the Bitcoin chain, and this will unlock the vault for him. Yeah, so we still have 1 minute. Not sure if you have any
We still have 1 minute, so I think we should use this 1 minute as like a call to action, just to let people know that Abdel and his team are going to be in the hackathon Discord server. So join us in the Discord. It's our Twitter handle is at BTC Startup Lab, and the first link you'll see is a Discord server to the hackathon, and you'll find Abdel and the Deep Lake finance team there. Also, Abdel, do I understand that you'll be sharing this documentation there? And so you can find this documentation and this video in the resource channel. And if you want to provide any additional walkthrough videos, we can do a quick recording and also put it there as well. Okay. So
Yeah.
thank you again, Abdel, Nick, and Dan, for coming up here and showing us how to get started using DLCs on Bitcoin L1 Taproot. This is going to be, you know, a game changer also for Bitcoin. So I hope to see some of you guys build on this as well. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, thank you for coming on. Today, it's I apologize for the time is a little bit tight. But we'll continue this in the Discord server. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Thanks for
Albert.
coming on.